there. If you are looking to reduce inflammation and manage your autoimmune disease with dietary and lifestyle changes, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Gut Health Made Simple. I'm your host, Kim. So today I want to talk about some of the things that I typically have on hand in my pantry. So starting with some of the larger, staples in my pantry, I have this very large bag of quinoa, which if you eat quinoa, you know that what's in here can grow to be like this large once you cook it. So I got this at Costco. It'll probably last me a month. It's a great thing to have on hand when the kids stop by because it can fill up the plates pretty quickly. I also have basmati rice. We don't make this as often. I usually like to cook this in the pressure cooker. Typically that will kind of clean away any of the lectins that it might have on that. Lectins will be covered in a different video because that's kind of like a long story. But the basmati rice is really a nice option as well. Also, I don't eat a lot of pasta. I kind of cut that out of my diet many, many years ago. But when I do have family over, I will make a pasta meal because it's easy to make in a larger quantity. So I have been getting this, it's gluten-free, but it's pasta made with corn, brown rice, and quinoa. And that's a kind of a nicer option versus like the gluten-free regular pasta, which just pushes sugar back into whatever the composition is of that pasta. So I like this. Okay, so moving on to proteins. So I keep in my closet, I keep a lot of tuna fish because I take my lunches to work every day. I don't buy lunch when I'm out at work, so I take my lunches every day. So I keep a decent amount of tuna fish in case I don't have leftovers. So this albacore is wild caught, and I get big packages of this from Costco. Now the cans don't say wild caught on here, but the box, when I buy it in the box, says that it's wild caught. Now, also from Whole Foods, I also get their albacore. On the can, on each individual can, it will say pole and wild caught. So we want to have our fish be wild caught because farmed fish, again, that's a whole other video. It's probably not really good for the anti-inflammatory diet. So you want to see that your fish are wild caught. And then we also have to think about like mercury and things like that. So again, a whole other video. And going along with the protein, if you are more like a vegetable protein kind of person, I buy my my garbanzo beans or my chickpeas. I buy them raw and I buy them uncooked. And I typically soak them overnight on the stove in cold water with a little bit of salt. I soak them overnight. I rinse them real good, and then I put them in the pressure cooker. And then that takes care of the lectins that are typically in your legumes. Moving on to more like snack type stuff, we'll start with peanut butter because that's kind of snacky. So I was really excited years ago when Skippy came out with the Skippy Natural peanut butter. And it really very tasty, and it's great composition. And at the time, I thought, well, there's very few ingredients in this, so this is kind of what I want for peanut butter. I still have it because my husband likes to use it. However, there are seed oils in this type of Skippy Natural. They have the palm oil. It has the palm oil in it. So I've kind of moved away from that for myself and for my grandkids, and I just get just peanuts from Wegmans. There's other brands that are just peanuts, but really, if you look at those ingredients, what you want to see is just peanuts. You do have to mix it up. It's a little bit more work when you use your peanut butter, but I don't use peanut butter that often. Basically, just putting it on apples or bananas for the grandkids. So stir it up a little bit, and then just dole it out just like you would any other peanut butter, and it's just as good, if not better. That one's actually pretty oily, so I have to wipe that down. If you want an even better option than peanut butter, then you can go with the tahini, and this is basically just ground sesame seeds, kind of like in a peanut buttery form. You also have to mix this up, and I'm not show that to you. There's only a little bit left in the jar. But that's a really good option if you have the taste for it. So pretty much every night I have a yogurt snack, and I can show you the yogurt that I usually have in my refrigerator staples video, so check that out as well. But in my yogurt, I like to put a little bit of this organic vanilla, mix that in to give it a little bit of taste because I use plain yogurt, and that's not really appetizing for most people. So I put a little bit of this in there as a trick to make it a little bit better. It does not have the added sugar that the vanilla yogurt will have in it. And then I sprinkle these cacao nibs on top. And these are, I do get the sweetened kind, so there's a minimal amount of added sugar, 1 gram of added sugar, I think in a tablespoon serving. Yeah, in a tablespoon servings. I probably have 2 tablespoons, to be quite honest with you. And so that's 2 grams of added sugar, which is still much better than getting like a flavored yogurt. So I add those on top to make my yogurt just a little bit more exciting. So sticking with the idea of snack type items, I have, well, I'll give you a little background on this one actually. I have historically had sensitivity to tree nuts. Now, I've been tested and I do not have an allergy to tree nuts. This means that I will not have anaphylactic response to tree nuts at any point in my time. I just simply have a sensitivity. So over this year of healing, I've been able to kind of add tree nuts back into my diet. And just know that peanuts and tree nuts are different things. Peanuts are legumes, so it's not the same type of factor that causes one person to be allergic to tree nuts and one person to be allergic to peanuts. But I'm not allergic, so I've been able to add these back into my diet, and so pecans are kind of a daily staple for me. They're I like to eat them with a little bit of fruit every day, and I've had no problems since I've had this last year of kind of healing my gut. So I keep those on hand. I get the organic raw pecans. I did try to add back in the almonds. It's not working quite as well. Sometimes I get like a little itchy rash on my hips. For some reason, that's where my rashes sort of surface is in my hip area, my flank area. But I do keep this on hand for the kids because they like to come over and have a handful of almonds now and again. So I do get the organic raw. I would think when I want to try it again, I should get it without the skin on top and then see how that goes. But I'm going to hold off on that for a little while. Additionally, dried fruits. So again, you can't eat a ton of these. Fruit has their own set of sugar in them. So I get the unsweetened because a lot of dried fruits will have additional sugar pumped into them. So you always have to check the back and make sure that it says no added sugars. So I've been getting the dried apricots. Again, I can cut them up. I can have them with a little bit of the pecans if I want to. I actually kind of like these dried Bing cherries. And I like them, again, unsweetened. I like to cut them up and I like to put them in my tuna fish. So tuna, mayo, a little bit of chopped apples, and these dried Bing cherries cut up are really kind of tasty for a little kind of twist on tuna salad. So that's another addition. And then just like a handheld snack that I like to have, honestly, these are so good, medjool dates. Now, if you pick up a box of medjool dates and say, oh, you know, Kim said that this is a really good snack, and then you look at the back, you're going to see that there's quite a bit of sugar in a medjool date. If I had my glasses, I'd be able to tell you. So let's see, your serving is 2 dates, and that says it's about 27 grams of sugar, which is a decent amount of sugar. But there's no added sugar in this. And studies show that for the folks who wear the glucose monitors, that their glucose levels do not go up. There's not a spike when they eat the medjool dates. So it's a different kind of sugar than like cane sugar in a cookie or a piece of cake. So that's a nice snack to have on hand. Now, I'm not going to sit around and eat 10 of them. I do know it's a treat to have 2. So and that really does help the sweet tooth. Protein bars, they're very tricky. It's really hard to find protein bars that don't have just a mess of food in there. Like most of them are ultra processed foods. So I do keep these on hand. They have very few, it's the RX bar. They have very few ingredients in them. However, they do have the one ingredient called natural flavor, and you have to be careful with that because that can encompass so many different things. There's really no rule set for putting natural flavor in as an ingredient. I keep them on hand. I eat them far and few between. Few and far between? I always get that backwards. Few and far between, but they're much better than going to the vending machine. So something to note. RX bars, they're about $2 a bar. And then finally, items that I cook with that I keep on hand. Let's start with this big old bottle of extra virgin olive oil. Now I get it organic. Organic extra virgin olive oil is your best bet. It does have a higher smoke point than most people think it does, so you can cook with it. I actually roast a lot of my vegetables with it, probably at 400 degrees, and I do cook on the stove with it at a medium heat. So I do use olive oil to cook, and that has never been a problem. If you don't feel comfortable with olive oil, you can always use avocado oil. Again, I use this is the Chosen brand. I didn't get the organic, But again, avocado has at least a shell, an outside layer of it, so it's not coming in direct contact necessarily with pesticides in the area. So, and this has it's actually labeled as a 500-degree smoke point. Really good to cook with. It doesn't taste like avocado. It's just the oil of it. And then I also use the olive oil with the balsamic vinegar. And that's always my dressing. Always, always, always my salad dressing. And honestly, I look forward to it when I have it. So I get the organic balsamic vinegar, and you want to get of Modena. That's one of the better kinds. Actually, the more aged it is, the better the balsamic vinegar it is. This is probably like $8, but you can go up to like $30 for a balsamic vinegar. So that's a really good salad dressing, and I also put it in my my Italian sparkling water at night for like a little treat. And then finally, my cooking spray. I use the avocado oil cooking spray. It doesn't have any of the propellants that we have to worry about, but it works very well. And again, no avocado taste. It's simply just the oil from the avocado, and that's really helpful when you're cooking. So these are the items that I have in my pantry that are basically my staples. Be sure to check out the refrigerator staples video that I have, and leave in the comments some of the things that maybe you have in your pantry already, or something that I didn't mention today, or something that you'd like to see in a future video. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can see when my next video comes out. Have a great day.